Honey, I need some privacy with this. Many things in my kitchen that are about to go bad that I need to cook, starting with this cucumber. So we're gonna make some marinated cucumbers. And then I have some chicken in my fridge that I think maybe like tomorrow or the next day will be the last day I can cook this. So I'm gonna cook it today. I'm thinking of making like some miso chicken and rice with some marinated cucumbers. Deal? Let's start with the cucumbers. So I'm just cutting these cucumbers into little half moons. As you can see here, little half moons. Just gonna do all of them and hopefully they last a bit longer because these were down to the wire. They were starting to get a little wonky. You know, it's been in the fridge for about 5 days, so it's time. I'm definitely the type of person where I commit to having ideas of things that I want to cook when I grocery shop. I was like, oh, I'm going to go Greek this week and make a Greek salad. So I'm definitely going to need cucumber. But then my mind changed and I did a lot of more like, I did like a sweet potato bowl with ground beef. And I've been having that with cottage cheese and jalapenos. And I've been really feeling for more of like spicy jalapeno, briny types of things. So there's that. With the marinated cucumbers, they're in a jar now, and we need to add some kosher salt. That's just gonna draw out any excess moisture. And what I like to do with that is, since this is a taller vessel, I'm just gonna shake them up. Don't worry about the amount of salt. We will rinse them a bit before we go in with the rest of the marinade, but I'm gonna let these sit for a couple minutes. So like I said, everything here is hanging by a thread. You know, I bought these on Sunday. Today's Thursday, and like they're really wonky, but we're just gonna do the best we can with them, you know? So I'm just gonna chop it up as small as I can. Get a little bit more of that white. Okay, that should be good. And I think I'm gonna do a little garlic in there as well. And I have some soy sauce and chili crisp, and that will be my marinated cucumbers. Okay, now while the cucumbers figure it out, you know, while the liquid starts to come out of them, you can kind of see it's happening already. You need that to sit for about 30 minutes. While that's happening, we'll work on this sauce. And the sauce is actually really easy. So how I like to make it is a little bit of dark soy, a little bit of regular soy, or light soy sauce. This has tamari in it, so it's a little bit more, you know, a little tangy. Normally, a lot of people use sugar. I'm gonna use a little hot honey because I like the spice with it and I like the way the honey tastes. I add some sesame oil in there. I can't seem to find my rice vinegar, so I'm just gonna do half a cap of a bit of white vinegar because I'm not in the mood right now. And then Momofuku sent over this is their mild garlic chili crunch, which I think could be really good in this. So we're gonna use that one. They also sent over their regular chili crunch, but I'm gonna do the one with garlic, cause I love me some garlic. This is a brand new one, so we gotta get that open. Ooh. She's a little slippery. I like a healthy amount of that, especially including a lot of the crunch from the bottom. So like I'm going for like a good healthy scoop here. See that? Nice chunky scoop. Get a little bit of that oil in there too. You know what this needs is a little bit of ginger. Okay, now you just want to whisk that all together. You know, it's just that simple. It smells so good. I love the smell of sesame oil. Whenever I have any kind of Asian foods, anytime I have any kind of Asian foods, if I smell a lot of sesame oil, I just know it's going to be delicious. Like, that is really the trick for me. I love, 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 love sesame oil. And then let's give that a little taste. Magnificent. Okay, I just want you to see how much liquid has been collected. That is 30 minutes. So it's just drawing out all of the salt. Maintains its crispiness. But now we're gonna drain it and give it a rinse. Now what I'm gonna do is just, see here, I'm just gonna grab them with a bit of paper towel and just squeeze out any additional moisture out of them now that they've been rinsed. And then just give them a shake over the sink. Get out any excess moisture, water. And now we're gonna put them back in this vessel because that's where they'll live. Okay, and now with the sauce, we're just gonna give it one more whisk. Pour that right over. Let's get every last bit. Let's get every last bit of that sauce, every last ingredient. That's all our flavor. And then we're gonna do a nice healthy handful of this green onion. I'm gonna save the rest for my miso chicken. Just wanna shake this up. Really get it incorporated. That just looks immaculate. Look at that. And it smells exquisite. Like, I could just eat this. I could eat this all by itself. Like this. Honey, I need some privacy with this. And the sauce is so good, I could literally drink it. But now let's work on the chicken. I'm also gonna put these in the refrigerator and let them cool down. And then before I serve, they'll be nice and chilled and perfect. Okay, I have 2 chicken breasts here. I have done this recipe on Dinner Plus on TikTok, on Instagram. I've done this recipe time and time again, but it's a basis recipe and I switch up the sauce or switch up the flavor profile a million times. So basically I take some chicken breasts, cut them into strips and go through the process of velveting, which is essentially just breaking down the proteins in the chicken so it's nice and juicy. And I've used it for jalapeno chicken, oyster sauce chicken, salt and pepper chicken. Like, it is a very easy process. I've done it 100 times, so let's do it again. So this begins by first, I have a chicken breast here. I like to split the chicken breast in half first. So there you have it. And then I cut against the grain. even though it's not a steak. I'm cutting against it, so you see that there's like ribbing that's going this way. I'm going that way. And I'm gonna cut it into little strips. And there you have little strips. And I just keep cutting into little strips of chicken. And you want them about 1/4 of an inch. You want them about 1/4 of an inch thick. This is going to be so delicious. And sometimes I'll angle my knife sideways and almost cut on a slant. I believe that process is called julienne, but don't quote me. I am not a culinary school graduate, okay? I just like to cook and like to hone my skills. That's it and that's all. And if I find that I have a strip that I think is just a bit too long, I'll just split it in half. Same thing goes for this one, split in half. And then right across. It's very quick and easy. This is a very quick, easy dinner that's easy to get on the table. 30 minutes or less, 30-minute meals with the diva. I'm going to give this chicken another rinse because I just cut it. All right, now that the chicken is rinsed, I squeezed out as much water as I possibly could. The first thing you want to go in with is cornstarch. Since this is a pound of chicken, I'm gonna do 1 healthy heap, which this is about a tablespoon of cornstarch spread all over the chicken. The next thing you want to go in with is baking soda. About half of what I did before, so half of a tablespoon of baking soda. Then you want to go in with your spices of choice. Because so I'm choosing a bit of black pepper. Do a bit of garlic powder. And some onion powder. And I'm gonna do a little chicken bouillon powder as well. Then you wanna go in with some dark soy sauce. So that's gonna be about 2 tablespoons of dark soy sauce. Pardon me, 1 tablespoon of dark soy sauce. Mix that up really well. You could go in with grated ginger here. You could go in with grated garlic, all of those goods. I'm keeping it very simple for this because I'm making a miso sauce. And what you want this to kind of appear is like paste-like. You see how it's beginning to stick on the sides of the bowl? That's what you're looking for. It needs to be a little bit pasty. And you want this to sit for about 30 minutes so that it has the time to break down the chicken. Okay, it's been about 30 minutes now. Let's cook. All right, we're breaking out the wok. We're gonna get that nice and hot with a bit of avocado oil. Okay, once the oil is glistening like this and moving very freely and screaming hot, and I do mean hot, you're gonna get your chicken down in there. You wanna try to get this into as flat of a layer as possible. And just let them cook on each side for a couple of minutes. It smells amazing already. And just let those chill out. Don't touch them. Let them get golden. And then we flip. Okay, it's been a couple minutes. You can see it's starting to get a bit crispy. We're just gonna give them a flip. We just want these to get a nice crusty color on. See how that looks? That's what we want, is a bit of fond and a bit of color. Now we're just going to give it a little bit of an aggressive saute, and then we're going to pull it. You just want that to go on, and you just want that to go to the side and rest for a minute. Now, before we work on the sauce for this chicken, I want to saute this vegetable option that I have here. Remember, everything was going bad. So I have this cabbage and carrot medley here that I just cut up. I kind of cut the carrots into as good of matchsticks as I could. And I'm just going to saute that with a bit of fish sauce, garlic, and ginger, and some of these spring onions, and just make a little sauteed vegetable medley. Now for the cabbage, I'm going to cook it directly in those drippings, and I want this to be as hot as possible because I want it to kind of char up a little bit. So I'm just gonna spread it out in as thin of a layer as I possibly can, and I'm just gonna leave it alone and let it dry out as much as possible before I saute. Because something about charred cabbage is just so delectable to me. Okay, it's been about 2 to 3 minutes, and that's what we're looking for. It's a bit of charring around the edges. We don't want it to be burnt. We just want some char to happen. So I'm going to flip it over and allow it to do the same on the other side. Let's get a little bit of that char going. Also dries out some of that moisture in the cabbage. Okay, with the flame still on high, I'm gonna add a bit of soy sauce, a bit of fish sauce, and a touch of sesame oil. And we're just gonna saute that all together. And while that's happening, sorry guys, it's hard to do all of this in a New York City apartment. I'm gonna add some fresh garlic as well. Just saute that all together. And that's gonna be our quick vegetable medley. Okay, now we're gonna make the sauce for the chicken. I'm using about a tablespoon of miso. Let's get that down in there. Now, the thing to always be cognizant of with miso and soy sauce, which is the next ingredient, is that they are already salty. And remember, we also added a bit of soy sauce to the chicken. So you want to be very cognizant of these sodium levels. This here is a blend of garlic and ginger. And now, to offset the sweetness, I'm gonna add about half of these spring onions in here, and then the rest will be for garnish. Steal a bite of the chicken, because it's just so delicious. I can't stop sneaking my little fingers in there. A nice healthy little lump of brown sugar in there. And just a little smidge of hot honey. The last piece that we need is some fresh water. That'll just loosen everything up, help the That'll help the sugar dissolve and the miso paste. And I just like to start by stabbing everything down together before I begin to mix. And try not to be like me. Try not to make a mess. You know? Like, my God. Once I feel like everything's kind of broken up, that's so delicious. Then I'll just give it a little whisk. Now here's the next thing you need to have prepared and ready to go is a cornstarch slurry. So in this little thing right here, that little ramekin, we're going to get just a little smidge of cornstarch. I'm talking like 2 teaspoons of cornstarch, right? And then a bit of water. I'm just gonna mix that all up. And we need to have that primed and ready to go because that will help thicken our sauce. First things first, sauce in. Smidge more water in there. Just to make sure we get every last ingredient. And I'm just gonna whisk that a little bit. Let everything kind of break down, cook together, you know? Just like if there's any residual sugar or miso that needs a little bit of heat to break it down, this is the perfect time for that. Soften that garlic and ginger a bit. Just let that start to bubble up. Once the bubbles go all the way around the perimeter, which is what we're looking for, then we're gonna add in our chicken. The chicken that I cannot stop eating. Chicken right in the center, all of its juices. You just want to introduce the chicken to that sauce. Let it catch on to its flavor, absorb some of that miso, that sugar, all of that. This doesn't take very long. You're just trying to introduce all of the ingredients. And now you're going to introduce a cornstarch slurry. And you will see very quickly this sauce will become thick and glossy and delicious. And just like that, you will be all done. See? Okay, Big Mama's hungry, so let's make this play. Marinated cukes from the fridge. Oh my God. Those smell so good. Some of these marinated cucumbers. I want those on the rice though. This looks so good. I want a little bit of that sauce. I'm just gonna have one right now. Maybe 2. Okay, and then for the start of the show, our miso chicken. Chicken. Top that off with a little bit of green onion. And then we're gonna take pictures for the cover photo. The time has come for me to eat. Thank you, Lord. Amen. Ooh, I'm so excited. I'm just gonna start with a bite of rice. You know when you make a good pot of rice and it just looks fresh? All right, let's taste this cabbage and carrot. Immaculate. Still has its crunch. That miso chicken ain't nothing to play with. Oh, wow. Little palate cleanser. Okay. Let's do cucumbers and rice. See that? That's a good bite. Okay, guys. I need some privacy with this plate. If you've made it this far, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.